They always made you believe that youth is the key to sexual attractiveness. But they lied to you. In his most secret manuscripts, Carl Jung discovered the existence of an ancestral erotic energy, a force accessible only to mature women. This energy has the power to render any evolutionarily advanced man completely unable to resist. It is activated through 8 sacred vices, vices that patriarchal society has long labeled as dirty, precisely because they represent feminine power in its purest form. Today, I will reveal to you these 8 forbidden vices, secrets that no young woman can master, and how to use them to awaken a man at the deepest level, a magnetic attraction that transcends the physical body and speaks directly to the male soul. The combination of the 4th and 7th vices is so powerful that even Carl Jung considered it dangerously irresistible, a secret once known to ancient tantric priestesses, deliberately erased from history. The modern world has made you believe a devastating lie, that a woman's erotic power diminishes with age. This may be the greatest falsehood ever perpetrated against the sacred feminine. In his studies, Jung discovered the exact. Quite the opposite. Jung observed that in ancient cultures, long before the rise of patriarchal civilization, mature women were revered as the keepers of the mysteries of the os and sacred sexuality. They were the ones who initiated both young women and men into the secrets of tantric union. They were the priestesses of the temples of love. And that's because they possessed something no young woman, no matter how beautiful, could ever offer. The full integration of her shadow. The shadow, as Jung called it, is that part of the psyche which holds everything we hide, repress, or deny, our fears, desires, instincts, and untamed emotions. Society has taught us to repress, to hide, to view certain parts of ourselves as inappropriate or even shameful. The shadow holds our deepest desires, our primal urges, our wild instincts. For centuries, women have been conditioned to suppress these aspects, to always appear composed, controlled, and appropriate. But Jung discovered something radical. The true erotic magnetism of a mature woman arises precisely from her ability to embrace these shadow aspects, to integrate them into her conscious self, and to transform these so-called vices into sources of sacred power. And this is the first great secret you must understand. What society has labeled as vices are, in truth, sacred virtues, deep spiritual abilities that, once awakened, allow you to radiate an energy so magnetic that no evolved man can ignore it. This is not about superficial techniques or seduction tricks. It is about a profound energetic awakening, a return to your most authentic wild nature. What Clarissa Pinkola Estes called the wild woman, the feminine archetype in its most powerful and untamed expression. Throughout this journey of rediscovery, I will guide you through the 8 sacred vices, vices that Jung identified as the keys to mature feminine erotic magnetism. I will show you how to recognize them within yourself, how to awaken them from their forced slumber, and how to integrate them into your life, so you can naturally radiate that irresistible energy that is your birthright. As a woman who has walked the initiatory path of life. But I want to be completely honest with you. This path is not for everyone. It requires courage. It demands the will to break free from conditioning, to challenge everything you've been taught about what it means to be a proper woman. It requires the willingness to confront aspects of yourself that you may have hidden, even from yourself. It is a journey of initiation, a path of deep transformation. But if you are ready to walk it, the rewards are beyond anything you could ever imagine. Before I reveal the first of the sacred vices, I want to share with you a revolutionary discovery Jung made while studying erotic energy throughout the different stages of a woman's life. He observed that while a young woman's sexual energy is mostly projected outward, focused on appearing desirable to others, a mature woman's erotic energy is rooted in her deep energetic center, what in Eastern traditions is known as the lower dantian, the center of creative power. That's why the sexuality of a mature woman has a completely different quality. It is not performative. It is not oriented toward pleasing or conforming to external standards. It is an authentic expression of her inner fire, of her deepest life force. And now, here is the first of the sacred vices that will make you irresistible. The vice of bold vulnerability. Bold vulnerability is the ability to show desire without filters, without power games, without the strategies younger women often use to attract attention. It is the willingness to drop all masks, to release all social personas, and to present yourself to a man in your naked truth, not just physically but energetically and spiritually. It is the ability to say, with your whole being, "This is what I desire. This is what I enjoy. This is my hunger," without apologies, without justifications, without shame. This bold vulnerability is considered a vice by patriarchal society precisely because it represents a woman who fully owns her sexuality, who does not hide it, dilute it, or make it more acceptable. A woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to ask for it is seen as a threat to the established order, a world where female desire is expected to be moderated, always reactive to male desire, never primary or initiating. But the truth Jung discovered is this: bold vulnerability is deeply magnetic to evolutionarily advanced men. While it may scare emotionally immature men, it irresistibly attracts those who are ready for authentic intimacy, for a connection that goes beyond games and pretenses. These men unconsciously recognize in this vulnerability not a weakness, but an extraordinary strength, a courage that speaks directly to their soul. Sonia, a 54-year-old woman who took part in my courses, shared how awakening this vice completely transformed her intimate life. After years of always holding back, always measuring her expression of desire, she decided to fully embrace her bold vulnerability. The first time she looked her partner in the eyes and expressed, without filters, exactly what she wanted, she saw something shift in his gaze. It wasn't just arousal. It was deep recognition, as if he was truly seeing her for the first time. That night, they experienced a level of intimacy they had never reached in all the years of their relationship. And since then, their bond has deepened in ways she never thought possible. That's because bold vulnerability is not just an outward behavior. It is an energetic opening. When you allow yourself to be completely authentic in your desire, you activate what the ancient Taoists called the jade path, the energy channel that connects your sexual center with your heart and your third eye. It's as if your entire life energy can finally flow freely, without blockages or restrictions, creating an energetic field around you that is perceptible to anyone sensitive enough to feel it. If what I'm telling you resonates with something deep inside you, if you feel that this might be the missing piece in the puzzle of your erotic expression, then I invite you to do something simple yet powerful. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. In the upcoming videos, I will delve even deeper into these sacred vices, show you specific exercises to awaken them, and share ancient tantric practices to fully integrate them into your being. I don't want you to miss these teachings, which can literally transform not just your intimate life, but your relationship with your own life force. Do this now. It's a small step, that can open the door to an entirely new understanding of your feminine power. The second, sacred vice. The second sacred vice that will make your sexual energy irresistible is what Jung called the vice of sacred selfishness. This is perhaps the most powerful transgression against traditional female conditioning, which is why it has been so demonized by patriarchal culture. Sacred selfishness is the ability to prioritize your pleasure, to place your needs, your desires, and your rhythm at the center of the dance of intimacy. It is the willingness to lead, to teach, to show the man how to fully satisfy you. It is a complete reversal of the traditional narrative, where a woman is expected to be receptive, passive, and focused on the pleasure of the other before her own. The ancient tantric priestesses knew that female pleasure is not merely a side effect of male pleasure, but an energetic force in itself, a powerful creative energy that, when fully expressed, has the power to transform both partners. In classical Tantra, the female orgasm was considered a gateway to the divine, a moment of direct connection with the creative energies of the universe. And that is why women initiated into the sacred mysteries were trained to fully own their pleasure, to never sacrifice it to, and regard it as sacred as life itself. Jung rediscovered this ancient wisdom in his studies of female erotic energy. He observed that women who had integrated this sacred selfishness radiated a completely different energy, a powerful magnetism that attracted men on a level far beyond physical attraction. Because an evolutionarily advanced man recognizes, even unconsciously, the transformative power of a woman who fully owns her pleasure. To truly understand why this vice is so powerful, you must grasp something fundamental about the deep male psyche. Contrary to what modern culture has led you to believe, a mature man does not desire a woman who sacrifices herself for him, who sets aside her own desires to please him. That is an immature dynamic rooted in insecurity and power games. A truly evolved man desires a woman who challenges him, who pushes him to grow, who leads him to depths of intimacy he didn't even know existed. And a woman who practices sacred selfishness does exactly that. She challenges the man to surpass himself, to become a better lover, more attentive, more connected. Louisa, a radiant 57-year-old woman who took part in my Inner Path courses, Louisa, a radiant 57-year-old woman, shared how integrating this vice completely revolutionized her intimate life. After decades of marriage, she had long silenced her needs, faked satisfaction, and accepted intimacy that left her unfulfilled. But when she finally found the courage to embrace sacred selfishness, to clearly express what gave her pleasure, and to guide her husband through that journey of discovery, he didn't feel threatened or inadequate as she had feared. On the contrary, he responded with enthusiasm, with gratitude, and with a renewed desire to connect with her on a deeper level. It was as if he gave her permission to finally be authentic. And this liberated him too, freeing him from limiting patterns and expectations. Sacred selfishness has such profoundly transformative power because it's not just about physical pleasure, but about the entire energetic field created between you and your partner. When you practice this sacred vice, you activate what in tantric tradition is called the Kundalini circuit, the flow of energy that rises from your sexual center through all the chakras up to the crown. This energy, when flowing freely, creates a vibrational field around you that can be perceived even from a distance. It's as if you emit an energetic fragrance that naturally attracts men capable of responding to this elevated frequency. You can awaken this vice within yourself. There is a simple yet powerful practice you can do alone. Sit in a quiet place, close your eyes, and bring your attention to your pelvic center. Visualize a sphere of golden light there, warm, pulsating. This is the seat of your sacred pleasure energy. As you breathe deeply, imagine this light expanding, first filling your pelvis, then rising along the spine, illuminating each chakra along the way. Feel how this energy is entirely yours. How it is your birthright to fully possess it. Repeat to yourself. My pleasure is sacred, my desire is divine, my satisfaction is a gift to the universe. Do this practice for 7 consecutive days. And you will notice a subtle yet profound shift in the way you relate to your erotic energy. The third sacred vice that will make you magnetically irresistible is what Jung called the vice of proud imperfection. This may be the most revolutionary of the vices, the one that most directly challenges the dominant cultural narrative about beauty and female attractiveness. Proud imperfection is the ability to fully embrace your mature body with all its marks, its curves, its transformations. It is the willingness to celebrate every wrinkle as a sign of wisdom, every scar as a story of resilience, every change as an initiatory passage that has made you the powerful woman you are today. It is the total refusal to conform to youth-centered beauty standards, and the bold affirmation that true feminine beauty lies precisely in what the dominant culture wants you to hide. Jung discovered, through studying traditional societies around the world, that in cultures untouched by modern patriarchal values, the mature female body was celebrated, honored, even revered. Soft curves, breasts that have nourished life, the belly that has hosted new souls. All of these were seen as signs of fully blossomed sacredness, not as imperfections to correct or conceal. And men in those cultures responded to these physical manifestations of feminine maturity with desire and reverence. That's because, at a deep unconscious level, evolutionarily advanced men are not programmed to respond to the artificial perfection promoted by the media, but to the embodied authenticity of a woman who fully owns her body in all its stages. Contrary to what culture has led you to believe, a mature man is not primarily attracted to youth or flawlessness, but to presence, confidence, and energy a woman radiates when she is completely at ease in her own skin. Elena, a radiant 62-year-old woman, shared with me how embracing the vice of proud. Elena, a radiant 62-year-old woman, shared how embracing the vice of proud imperfection completely transformed her intimate life. For years she made love with the lights off, hid certain parts of her body, and limited her movements out of fear of revealing signs of aging or so-called flaws. When she finally found the courage to release these fears, to fully show herself, to move freely guided only by her pleasure, she noticed an immediate shift in her partner's response. Her free expression, her lack of self-consciousness, her joy in her own body awakened in him a deeper, more animalistic, more totalizing desire than he had ever felt in all their years together. That's because when you embrace proud imperfection, it literally changes the chemistry between you and your partner. The ancient Taoist traditions spoke of the importance of alchemy between yin and yang energies during sexual union. When a woman is fully present in her body, without shame, without hesitation, her yin energy expands, creating a magnetic field that naturally attracts the masculine yang energy. It's an energetic dance that bypasses the conscious mind and speaks directly to the man's energetic body. You can integrate this sacred vice into your life. I suggest a powerful practice, the sacred mirror ritual. Find a moment when you can be completely alone and undisturbed. Position a mirror large enough to reflect your entire body and stand before it. Breathe deeply, and as you look at your reflection, begin to touch every part of your body with reverence and gratitude. Thank your hands for all they have created and caressed. Honor your legs for carrying you through your journeys. Celebrate your belly for its deep intuitive wisdom. Bless your breasts for their ability to give and receive pleasure. As you do this, speak aloud. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am sacred in every curve, in every line, in every transformation. If what I'm revealing is touching something deep within you, if you feel these sacred vices are awakening your full power, I want to invite you to take a bolder step. In my course, the Carl Jung Code of Relationships, I guide you on a deep journey with specific exercises to fully integrate these sacred vices into your being. I reveal the most powerful combinations, those ancient priestesses reserved only for initiates, and show you how to use them to create such a strong magnetic field that you naturally attract the most profound and fulfilling experiences of intimacy into your life. The link to learn more is in the description of this video. Or you can simply write OS in the comments, and I will personally send you all the information. Alternatively, a card is now appearing in the top right corner. Clicking on it will take you directly to the course. Now, we arrive at the fourth sacred vice. The one Jung considered the most powerful and transformative of all. The one that ancient tantric traditions taught only after years of preparation. I'm talking about the vice of total presence, the almost magical ability to stop time during intimacy, to enter an altered state of consciousness where only the present moment exists, where every sensation is amplified, every touch becomes a universe in itself, every breath a cosmic dance. Total presence is the ability to completely abandon mental control during intimacy, to let go of every thought, every worry, every self-image, and to immerse yourself fully in the river of sensations. It's a trance-like state that creates such a powerful, energetic field that it becomes almost tangible. A field that envelops both partners and transports them into dimensions of pleasure and connection that transcend ordinary experience. This ability is considered a vice in modern society because it represents a complete abandonment of rationality, control, and the constant self-monitoring that our culture imposes on us. A woman who enters this trance state is seen as dangerous, primal, too powerful, too free. And it's true. In this state, a woman accesses energies and powers that make her impossible to control or manipulate. She becomes a force of nature, a living portal to dimensions of human experience that rational society prefers to deny or suppress. But it is precisely this state of total presence that makes a mature woman irresistible on a level far beyond physical attraction. Jung discovered that evolutionarily advanced men respond to this feminine trance state with an almost magnetic pull. A primal call that bypasses the rational mind entirely and speaks directly to the most ancient parts of the brain, those connected to instinct and deep intuition. Clara, a 59-year-old woman with a natural inclination for spirituality, told me how discovering this sacred vice completely revolutionized her intimate life. For years, she had always maintained a certain level of control during intimacy. A part of her mind remained alert, observant, never fully surrendered to the experience. But when she began practicing the tantric techniques of conscious surrender that I taught her, she experienced for the first time what it truly meant to be fully present, fully immersed in the moment. The first time she entered this trance state with her partner, she noticed something extraordinary. He responded with an intensity, a passion, a presence that he had never shown before. it was as if her complete presence had awakened something primal in him. Something wild and authentic that had been dormant beneath layers of social conditioning. That's because when a woman enters the state of total presence, she activates what in tantric tradition is called Shakti, the feminine creative energy in its purest and most powerful form. This energy has the power to awaken its counterpart Shiva, the conscious masculine energy, creating an energetic circuit that amplifies the experience for both partners. It is a cosmic dance that goes beyond physical bodies. A fusion of energies that can lead to expanded states of consciousness and bliss. Described in ancient texts as sexual samadhi, the divine ecstasy of union. You can develop this capacity for total presence. I want to share with you a simple yet powerful practice. The orgasmic breath meditation. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position, and bring your attention to your breath. Begin breathing deeply, letting each inhale fill your belly first, then your chest. As you exhale, release completely, allowing the breath to leave with a soft sound. Gradually begin to imagine that each breath enters through your sexual center and travels up your spine to the crown of your head. With every exhale, feel the energy flow back down, creating a continuous circuit. As you continue this circular breathing, allow your body to respond freely. You may notice spontaneous undulations in your spine, sensations of warmth or vibration. Even waves of pleasure spreading from your pelvic center. Embrace all these sensations without trying to control or direct them. This is the key to total presence. The ability to completely surrender to the flow of vital energy in your body. Now, the fifth sacred vice that will make your sexual energy irresistible is what Jung called the vice of forbidden imagination. This is an aspect of female sexuality that has been particularly demonized and repressed by patriarchal culture, and for good reason. It is incredibly powerful. Forbidden imagination is the ability to access and give voice to your deepest desires, your most intimate fantasies, your boldest erotic visions. It is the willingness to explore the wild territories of your erotic psyche. Those borderlands where desires lie dormant, perhaps never shared with anyone, and not even with yourself. It is the art of using imagination as a portal to dimensions of pleasure that go beyond the purely physical. In ancient tantric traditions, female erotic imagination was considered a magical force. A powerful manifesting ability that could literally call forth experiences and partners that resonated with a woman's deepest desires. Priestesses were trained to cultivate and refine this imagination, to make it increasingly vivid and detailed, and to use it as a tool for conscious manifestation. Jung had rediscovered the importance of this active imagination in his studies of the feminine unconscious. He observed that women who had integrated this vice into their lives radiated a completely different energy. An aura of mystery and infinite possibility that naturally drew men in on a level far beyond surface attraction. Because an evolutionarily advanced man can sense, though not always consciously, the transformative power of feminine erotic imagination. He feels that this woman could lead him into realms of experience he has never explored, that she might reveal to him parts of himself he doesn't even know yet. Maria, a 56-year-old woman with a rich inner world, told me how embracing this vice brought an entirely new dimension to her intimate life. For years, she had kept her deepest fantasies hidden, considering them inappropriate, even shameful. When she finally found the courage to share them with her partner, not only was she not judged as she had feared, she discovered that her openness created a space of freedom for him as well, allowing him to access desires and fantasies he had never dared to express. This sharing created a level of intimacy and complicity that completely transformed their relationship, taking it to depths they had never imagined. That's because forbidden imagination is not just a mental game. It is a powerful tool of energetic manifestation. When you give, by giving voice to your deepest desires, you activate what tantric tradition calls the power of VICES, the creative energy of the word. Words, especially when spoken in a heightened state of awareness, have the power to shift the energetic field, to create vibrational waves that attract resonant experiences. This is why sharing your fantasies with a partner is not merely an act of intimacy, but a ritual of co-creation. You can awaken this vice within yourself. I suggest a powerful practice, the Hidden Desires Journal. Get yourself a special notebook to be used only for this purpose. Every night before bed, devote 10 minutes to writing freely, without censorship, any fantasies or desires that emerge from your erotic psyche. Do not judge what comes up, and don't try to control or direct the flow. Let your imagination wander freely, exploring territories you may have never dared to visit consciously. After writing, close the journal and place it somewhere safe. This practice is not only about clarifying your true desires to yourself. It also acts as a powerful act of manifestation, sending a clear signal to the universe about what you want to attract into your life. The sixth sacred. The sixth sacred vice that will make you magnetically irresistible is what Jung called the vice of spiritual power. The ability to transform sexual energy into spiritual power, and vice versa. This is perhaps the most esoteric and mystical aspect of mature feminine eroticism, and it has been the most actively suppressed and demonized by patriarchal religions. Spiritual power is the ability to consciously recognize and harness the deep connection between sexuality and spirituality. It is the lived understanding that sexual energy and spiritual energy are not separate, but, actually, it is the same life force flowing through different channels. It is the art of directing this energy fluidly between those channels, using pleasure as a portal into elevated states of consciousness, and inversely using spiritual connection to amplify erotic experience. You can integrate this sacred vice into your life. I suggest a simple yet powerful practice, the light sphere meditation. Find a time when you won't be disturbed. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position and close your eyes. Begin to breathe deeply, feeling each breath entering and leaving your body. After a few minutes, bring your attention to your pelvic center and imagine a pulsing golden sphere of light there. With each inhale, feel this light growing brighter and more intense. With each exhale, feel the light expanding, first filling your pelvis, then rising up your spine. Visualize this light activating and illuminating each chakra along the way. The sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, the throat, the third eye, and finally, the crown. When the light reaches the crown, imagine it opening like a flower, connecting you with the spiritual dimensions above. Then with your next exhale, visualize the light flowing back down, now enriched with spiritual energy, returning to the pelvic center. Continue this energetic circuit for at least 10 minutes, feeling how sexual and spiritual energy merge and enhance one another in this circular flow. The seventh sacred vice that will make your energy irresistible is what Jung called the vice of conscious transgression. This is perhaps the boldest and most liberating vice, the one that most directly challenges the boundaries and limitations society has imposed on your sexual expression. The vice of conscious transgression is your willingness to deliberately break the rules that no longer serve you. It is a bold act of inner freedom, the ability to stop asking for permission to be who you truly are, sensual, powerful, untamable. For decades, even centuries, society has imposed on women what is considered appropriate, moral, respectable. But at the very core of your feminine sexuality lies a wild intelligence that knows. Truth and freedom always come through the courage to step outside the lines. This transgression is not an egoic rebellion, but a deeply conscious action, one connected to your heart, body, and soul. When you dare to be authentic, even if it means shattering the norms that have been ingrained in you, you become a radiant being who no longer seeks approval, but inspires. Your sexual energy then is no longer subject to others' projections. It becomes a tool of your truth and your creation. The men who are ready will feel that force and be drawn, not to your body, but to your wholeness, to the woman who knows, who chooses, and who dares.